I'm Tom from Do It Yourself Home Automation, and this is a look at how to clean the Fitbit Ionic smartwatch. So this is my Fitbit Ionic, and if you wear this routinely, you'll see you start to get, build up on the back of the watch, on the band. You can see, dirt and debris starts to build up. You can get sand in the charging contacts and other things that make this just not as effective to use. So it's important to clean your Fitbit, maybe once a month at least, or maybe even more frequently depending on how much you wear it and how much you use it. So one of the great things about the Ionic is that because it is water resistant, you can actually just clean it in the sink. But there's a couple of ways to make sure you're getting it fully clean. So the first thing that I usually do when I'm going to clean the Fitbit Ionic is just to rinse it underwater. So you can see I'm going to just sort of rinse the whole watch off, get into the bands and everything. And then the next step is to get some kind of a cleaner that you want to use for the watch. And the important thing is to use something that's not going to be harsh at all, both because you don't want to damage the watch, but you also, because some of it's going to remain, there's going to be some residue on the watch, you don't want to have that trapped against your skin on the band, if it's something that's going to be a really harsh soap. So what Fitbit recommends, and I think works really well, is Cetaphil. This is actually technically not a soap. It's a cleaner that doesn't have any of the sort of astringent properties of normal hand soaps and that kind of thing. And it's designed for people with sensitive skin for use on the face, but it works really well as a soap alternative to clean off really any of the Fitbit products. And I like to take a little cotton round, I've soaked this in water, and then I'm going to put a little bit of that Cetaphil cleaner right on there, make sure it's kind of nicely mixed in. And then I'm going to take the watch, and I usually start with the back, and just start to gently kind of rub along these different parts here on the back of the watch. And I like to clean this part first, which is in contact with the skin, and particularly the little windows on the back there. And these little windows on the back are for the sensors that measure heart rate, and I suspect also oxygen saturation, although Fitbit doesn't say it explicitly. So I'm going to clean those off, and definitely to get into the charging contacts. So this is one thing I found with the Ionic that they actually corrected later with the Versa, is that you can get sand and debris that actually gets stuck in those little charging contacts. So it's important to kind of get in there and make sure that you're cleaning all that out. Otherwise, you can end up with a poor connection to your charger, and it can not charge, or it can slow down the charging on the watch. So I'm just going to clean those off really well, clean around where I saw some kind of debris build up at the edges here, and then work my way up the band, and I'm just cleaning off the areas again, starting with the parts that are in contact with the skin. And you're just sort of gently rinsing that off with the soap there. Then I work my way around to the front of the watch and start to do the same thing on the screen and the bevels on the side here, which I find also tend to pick up some dirt and debris, and then working my way, again, kind of up and down the bands. And you can do a couple passes. I'm just going to do one to show the basics of how this works. And then once I'm done with doing that first round of cleaning, I'm going to rinse the watch off, and make sure you rinse it really thoroughly so you don't have any residue of that Cetaphil remaining on there. So rinsing everything off. Okay, and now this is really important. So you can see the watch is, soaking wet at the moment. It's really important not to then just put it right back on. You don't want to trap moisture between the band and your skin, because that can lead to irritation and other kinds of issues. So you want to either totally dry this using something gentle like a tissue or paper towel. So I usually do that to start. And then I usually let it sit for a good half hour or so to get any residual water off of there. So I'm going to do a basic drying of this here, and then I'm going to pause and come back in a little bit once the watch is drier. Okay, so now you can see the watch is, mostly dry. There's still a little bit of water on it, but it's looking a lot better. And then the final thing that I like to do, which is optional, but I think is definitely nice, you can see, after the cleaning, there's a little bit of dust. Maybe you have a little bit of oil from fingerprints still on the screen. So I like to finish it by just taking a microfiber cloth, and you can get these on Amazon. They're usually used for cleaning camera lenses or, glasses and that kind of thing. And I just like to do a final sort of cleaning of the screen itself, and that gets a nice shine and removes any dust or again, oils and fingerprints and things that might have built up on there. So you have a perfectly shiny watch now, like you had just purchased it. And this Ionic is actually, I got it really when it first came out. So it's over 2 years old, and you can see with regular cleanings, it's still in pretty good shape. There's not really a lot of scratches or buildup or anything on the screen, and that keeps it not only looking good, but also, again, charging well, and it keeps the efficiency of the watch's ability to monitor your heart rate and other things where it's in contact with your skin. If you found this helpful in any way, please subscribe to my channel. It really helps.